welcome to the Magic of Joy channel. Today I want to talk about hate and how a joy practice can help with hate. We all know that hate can create lots of problems, and it certainly does. And although as a species we've made many improvements in human life, we nonetheless have seen a freer expression of hate in recent years. It seems that all of the material improvements have not eliminated hate. Apparently we cannot buy our way out of hate. So what's going on and what can we do? Let's start by asking what hate is. The Oxford Dictionary describes it this way. First, it can be an intense or passionate dislike for someone, as in the boys hate each other. It's also used politely to express one's regret or embarrassment at doing something, like I hate to bother you. Another use of it is an intense or passionate dislike, feelings of hate and revenge. And a fourth is denoting hostile actions motivated by intense dislike or prejudice, such as a hate campaign. So the first thing to notice is that hate is not just one thing. It can be used as a way to be polite, as in I hate to bother you. Hate can also be the expression of personal taste, and this is important to understand. Intense dislikes can be for anything. We all have likes and dislikes, like for foods and other things in life that suit us or do not. I don't like soft-boiled eggs, for instance. Others might not like scrambled eggs or eggs at all. So if I say I hate soft-boiled eggs, I'm expressing a personal preference. What I'm not doing is hurting anyone. And then there's another form of hate, which is not personal, as much as it is social. And this is where hate becomes problematic, because with it comes a desire to eradicate who or what is hated. Carla McLaren, the emotions expert, talks about the intricacies of hate, which can also be described as resentment and disgust, and come with extreme boundary violations. Her website, carlamclaren.com, is worth visiting for more information about hate. She makes the point that when we hate, we're connecting with shadow material in us, something that we have disowned or sacrificed. So let's say you're creative and you had to sacrifice it because it was not supported, or perhaps you grew up in a situation with lots of illnesses or other kinds of problems. So the resources just were not there to support your interests and your talent. You might resent or hate someone who was supported and able to invest more in developing their talent. This is an example where your resentment can create hate in you. There are remedies, of course. By recognizing what's going on, you can take steps to support your own creativity more now. Now, as I said, hate can also be resentment, and there's more than one kind of resentment. Resentment can come from injustices. We see this in situations of extreme economic inequality, where heads of companies make fortunes and employees' basic needs and benefits may be meager by comparison. The resentment created there is a denial of the basic dignity, worth, and needs of each human being, as well as our responsibility to honor the fact that we share this earth with each other and need to respect the needs of all other people. And when this kind of disrespect is codified in social systems, it can consign people to lives where they cannot create lives with even basic dignity for themselves. Of course, there is resentment, because that is a very big harm. When resentment and inequality are built into social systems, we can actually make hate a feature of our cultural systems. And when structural hate is challenged, it can bring a backlash. People often hate those they harm with their inequity, because that other person reminds them of their own unfairness and their own shame. The solution, of course, is to rectify the unfairness and not hurt the person who's been harmed. The problem with hate is that we often want to annihilate the hated person or object. You can see it sometimes in people who are engaged in this kind of hate. There's an obsession and glee in making life difficult for the other person. The desire to hurt or to kill feels redemptive on the inside when it's actually destructive and self-destructive. Hate's a funny thing. Sometimes those who are hated have to work harder to get what they need, and in doing so, they have developed skills that those who do the hating do not have. Those who hate actually shoot themselves in the foot and then punish others for it. Hate takes up time and space in your energy and life and consumes you while taking no responsibility. It's a huge mistake. The question needs to be, what do I need to change? When hate and the inequality it creates are baked into social systems, we need to ask the same question, what do I need to change? And then assess what makes the most sense. If the resistance to change is too great, sometimes we need to take our lives back from the toxic inequalities that are creating destructive resentment. This may be what's happening with the Great Resignation in the United States. People may be saying enough is enough. Let's talk about how a joy practice totally changes this discussion. One of the easiest ways to allow hate to flourish is to deny the good in individuals' nature and life. It is often when the good in us is not given space, recognized, valued, and supported that resentment is created. The important thing for those on the receiving end is to recognize, value, and support the good in themselves. The more you do, the less you'll be around those who do not. Granted, systemic issues can make that challenging. And when you recognize the systemic issues, you begin to ask, how can I live in the most self-honoring way possible? There are ways. And you can also work with other people to change things, people who have the same intention. So when you want to change things for yourself, those changes usually involve simplification, serious self-care, and healing where necessary. And usually it's necessary. We do not have to succumb to hate. We can invest in ourselves, including supporting new skills in ourselves through education and training, supporting our self-care and healing practices. A joy practice is one of the best ways to do that because by its very nature, it focuses on, supports, and celebrates the good in all areas of life. What you focus on increases. Haters want you to focus on them and what they want. Haters dislike the good in others. They will insult you to bring you down to their level. It's important to understand that you do not need them. They probably need you more than you need them. And once you get that and focus on creating and sustaining the good in you and what you offer, you can be free of the toxic energies of hate. It's worth it, and you are worth it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching with me. If you like the video, please like it. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and loved ones. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on the transformative power of joy. I'll be back soon to give you more information about how joy as a practice and compass can transform your life. Until then, stay well and joyful, and thank you for watching.